Good evening, good morning. How you guys doing? It's the undesirable one. Okay, I scratched my other video. It was 2 hours, bro. I'm not editing 2 hours. Okay? I just want to tell you guys about my experience of being in a child protective custody and transitioning out. I first went to child protective custody when I was 8 years old. Well, at the time I lived in Hollywood, and it was in the 90s. Hollywood was mainly white people, Armenians, and Asians. So I went to this school called Satakoy Elementary, where I would get in trouble a lot, always suspended, not from any fault of mine. I was lied on. For example, in the first grade, was working on a project at my desk, and the teacher came over and asked me if I scratched this girl named Andrea, and I told her no, I'm working on my project. And she insisted and accused me that I did. I in fact did, because my barrette was on the ground next to her, and I was adamant and trying my best as a 7-year-old in the first grade, trying to defend myself and say no, I did not. So yes, I was shouting and I was screaming like, I didn't, I promise you I didn't, because I didn't want to get in trouble with my mother, who was already having a hard time raising her 2 kids. That's the reason why I don't like to be called Andrea as well, because of that little bitch. Because the girl was like, yeah, she did scratch me. She did. And so I got in trouble with my mom. I believe it was because of the incident where I was supposed to buy her a gift for her birthday with my money, and I decided not to. And I also stole $50 that our stepdad gave us from my sister, and bought my friends at Satakoy cookies and stuff. And I bought myself a science project that had like the slime stuff that I really wanted to play with. And I ended up getting in trouble. My mom whipped me. She whipped me to the point where I had whelps on my arm and on my butt and stuff, and on my legs. And so I was going to school with long sleeve shirts and pants, but one day I ended up showing my teacher, and she reported it to the office, and they reported it to the police. And I showed the officers where my mom's weed stash was. I don't know if you guys remember, during the 90s they had this cookie jar, like a not cookie jar, cookie container that has like all different types of cookies in it. And my mom had that full of weed. And so my mom was like, she had the hookup. My mom had the hookup at the time. So, and I ended up giving it to the police, and they removed us from her home, my first foster home. I was placed with a family. Their names were Maggie and Alan. Maggie was a wonderful lady. She was a good wife, you know, great foster mother, great mother, period. I don't know if they had kids of their own. They had adopted one young lady who was Asian. She was an adult by this time, probably in her 20s. When I moved there, they didn't know what to do with my hair, so they put a perm in it, and it caused my hair to fall out. My mother was so upset. They also, after my sister left, instructed their stepdaughter to shower with me. I guess to teach me how to bathe. Yes. One particular incident that I think about today that makes me uncomfortable is the fact that me and Alan was in their jacuzzi. And, you know, and the jacuzzi had like bubbles and stuff. Like, you know, you guys know what a jacuzzi is. So he would make my butt go up and down, right? So he's holding on to me, and I'm going up and down with my butt as a little girl, right? And he would make me sit on his lap in the jacuzzi, I'm talking about. And stuff like that. Or in between his legs. Something like that. It was something that just felt off during the time that I think about now. And I'm like, that dude probably was a child molester. I think he probably really was a child molester. And so I end up going back home with my mom after that. That place, I liked the place because of Maggie. To be honest, like, she made breakfast. She was like a mom. She was real nice and everything. She would talk to me when I got upset. She wouldn't scold me, you know, like how my mom would. But everybody else, you know, the daughter, that was weird to take a shower with her, and I don't know her. She ain't no siblings of mine, and she's a grown woman. So I'm looking at titties and coochies that I never seen. I barely saw my mother naked, okay? So I've never seen my sister naked. So I just didn't understand why I needed to take a shower with her and why they thought it was a good idea. I end up going back home. So the year before that, I had this Pocahontas party for my birthday. And I was expecting another party for my mother. And my mother, she wasn't throwing one for me. I don't know why. Maybe because I was being bad. Maybe because I went to foster care and she felt like I'm not about to do all that. I don't know. But I was upset. And I told her I wanted to go back since I wasn't getting a party. I ended up going back to foster care I don't remember, from 9 to 10. I don't remember where I was. But I do remember going to 5acres in Pasadena, Altadena area. And it's a group home with a whole bunch of children and a bunch of like apartments. Let me see, like about 12 apartments, right? That's together with different names, right? In this one facility. And I was at Willow. And it was girls and boys at this facility. There were staffs there that would come in the morning and at night. Different staffs in the morning and different staffs at night. The staffs that I remember is Lynn, who came later. Ishmael, Gwen, Rhonda, and I can't remember this other lady's name, but she had a son around her belly button, and she came in the morning. And BB, I remember BB. I think she was like an administrations or something like that, some observer or something. She wasn't like a staff like that, I don't think. And another dude that we called Usher, because he looked something like Usher. He wore glasses and stuff. He had a style like Usher. So one of my experience there, it is, okay, one day I was acting up. I was probably acting out of control, having a temper tantrum. And the staff came over. One of the staffs came over. I believe it was Ishmael, right? Because I remember I had a crush on him. And so every time Ishmael came, I would try to be like on my best behavior and try to act real mature and grown. He came over, snatched me up, twisted my arm behind my back, and led me to a different bunker that holds children who's misbehaving. And he placed me in this room. But before he placed me in the room, he pinned me on the wall and told me, like, shut the F up and, like, place some fear in me, right? And I could tell Ishmael was, like, a gang member. Like, he is from the hood or whatnot. It never scared me or anything like that, right? But I was crushed that he would touch me like that. Like, he would hurt me. and all the staffs, you know, they placed me in a room that's padded. Sometimes it's padded, and I think it's another one that's not padded. And so they would leave me in there for like hours, not minutes, hours, sometimes the next day. And I would beg and plead. Like it was solitary. I mean, is it solitary? I was also picked on by other kids at the facility. I had an incident where I was being picked on by this older girl. She was 13. I probably was 10 going on 11, or probably 11. And I'm sitting up there drinking something, and she wanted me to do something. I don't know. And I was like, well, you could wait or something. I said something smart. And she came over and popped that cup that I was drinking into my mouth. Like, I was drinking, and she's like, bah! She popped it in my mouth. And it scraped my gums, not causing any damages or anything, but hurt my feelings. And I ran to the nurse office, whatever, that's on the other side of the facility, and cry like, she did that to me. Nobody cared. Nobody acknowledged it. She wasn't disciplined. In fact, I was told that next time I should defend myself, that next time I shouldn't talk smart to her or something like that. That was another incident. The one thing that I did enjoy about 5 Acres is that they had this martial arts activity every week that I would go to faithfully, and it would relax me. It taught me, you know, how to meditate in a sense, how to hold my balance and everything, and you know, the different types of ways to defend yourself, but not defend yourself. Like, you know, you use the moves. If you are aware of the moves that you're learning, then you can use them. But I wasn't aware of the moves that I was using. You know, I wasn't able to utilize them in the facility because I didn't know what I had, right? I just was going for the relaxation. But one thing I do want to tell y'all, what I used to do when I would do the martial arts activity, I would be on stage and some people would be on the ground. And remember, the facility was mixed with girls and boys, so we all would go to the activity as well and engage. And so I would be on stage sometimes, and I would be facing the crowd that's off the stage. And at the end of the program or whatever, I would go, suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember suck it? Oh my goodness, that's one thing I did enjoy about being at 5 Acres was the martial arts program. Okay, there was another time where we went camping, and Gwendolyn and Rhonda and I believe Lynn was there, where they made that trip so fun because they played pranks on us. That we did the marshmallows and the chocolates, and we just had a good time. That was my first time camping and my only time camping, but it was really memorable. Other than that, being at the facility was very traumatizing, and I wouldn't go back. So moving on, I commend my mom for coming all the way out there, because she still was out in the valley, and it would take her about 2 hours to come get me and 2 hours to go home, and eventually we had overnight visits and stuff. It's stages. And she fought through all that. You know, I think about it now, how ungrateful I was, bro. Like, I was really ungrateful as a child. And I ended up going back home. My mom, you know, is working still, and I'm basically in middle school, and I wasn't going to school. I'm still trying to get into some boys activity, you know. And so my mom kind of got scolded me and stopped me in my tracks. But I still was doing dumb shit, like, you know, trying to set fire to the house. Walking slow to school because I don't want to go. Being late, you know. I think when my mom found out that I was trying to set fire to the house, she got upset at me, and I told her, like, oh, I hate you, and she slapped me in my face, understandably, because, like, all the stuff that I went through, and you gonna tell me you hate me? All the work that I did, I done got you back, and you gonna tell me you hate me? Because I'm trying to prevent you from whatever, you know, from having sex or burning the house down, and you gonna tell me you hate me? So I ended up telling the courts when we went to our annual or, you know, review, I never ever want to go back. That's what I said. And they removed me from her house. And so my mom said, I'm not coming to get you either. So I ended up staying in the system from 12, excuse me, to 19. Whew. Now, when I went back at 12, I was placed with a foster mother in LA, in Inglewood. It was around the corner from where they shot Friday, which was tight. Now, this is early 2000s, okay? Friday was shot in the late 90s. So just imagine the area, the environment was not really that different. And I was going to a middle school that was down the street from the foster home. And at first I was walking to school, but then they were doing like drive-bys and stuff in the area, so she had to start taking me to school. And I was a big loner, you know. At first it wasn't that bad. I just, you know, stayed to myself. I went into the shell. I only wore black. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want to dress. I didn't want to try. I didn't want to do anything but stay in this shell and protect it. I ended up getting into a fight at the school. I never really got into a fight like that, except with my younger cousin. And I think that was it at the time. I never really got in a fight. And so this girl kept picking on me and bothering me. And this boy in my class was like, yeah, you should run up on her, right? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. What's that, you know? He's like, I'll tell you when to go. And I'm like, okay. And so when she's walking out the door or whatever, he's like, go, 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 go. And so I run up, and I windmill her ass, right? And so I kind of like got the best of her, and she got hers in too, right? What they said was it was even or whatever. But the issue with that fight was them niggas gonna start clowning me afterwards and say, oh, you fucked up for that. You a punk, you a pussy, you ran up on her from behind, you scary, you all this. And I'm looking at the dude like, didn't you tell me to go? Didn't you tell me when to run up? Like, how you gonna turn it around on me? After that, I was just like, I don't even want to talk to people no more. Like, y'all niggas so wishy-washy. Y'all was over there giving me my props, and now you talking about me? So I really stayed to myself, and I really didn't trust people at the school, you know. And after that, probably like a month later, or if not weeks, the girl came back with her sister and her cousin that went to the school as well, and they followed me outside the gate, pushing and talking about me all the way to the gate until I got in the car. And once I got in the car, I was crying my eyes out. The foster mother was like, what's the matter with you? And I'm like, no, these girls are picking on me, and I don't want to go back to that school no more. And she was like, you going back to school, and when you go, you better beat they ass too. Her name was Mama Ali. And she was a nice lady, you know, but I still feel like she was just there to collect the check, right? And make sure I did what I had to do so she can continue on collecting her check, because she would just mainly stay in her room. She wouldn't engage with me. There was no board games. There was no let me do your hair, you know, or let me teach you about hygiene. Nothing of that. It like how you would do with your kids, right? It was, we're going shopping, put your clothes up, did you take a shower today? But I will give her this. And when I turned 13, she made sure I didn't go outside. I didn't get to do nothing but stay in that house. She wouldn't let me out because I was developed. I was turning into a woman. And she didn't want boys to try to get in my pants and I end up pregnant or whatnot. Which caused me to be an introvert. Which caused me to low-key be an old lady. And that's why people be like, you got an old soul and all this stuff. Is because she made me stay in the house and figure out to do stuff within the house. I don't go out like that or whatever. I already did that stuff anyway. You know, we would go to her daughter's house in Inglewood by the stadium now to get out the house. But other than that, and we would play like hide and seek at night in the dark. It was tight. Even though I would like to still do those things today, I've already done most of that party stuff, experienced all that stuff, and that's a different story. So anyways, I wanted to be adopted by her, and I was begging her. And she would sell me a dream, basically, and tell me if I'd be good for 6 months straight, then she would adopt me. But it never came to fruition. So I ended up being removed from her home and placed in Lancaster at Mildred. And Mildred was so nice. I ended up finding out that Mildred was actually our relative through my sister's family, her dad's family. So she took me in. I was about 13 going on 14. Let me tell you about an incident that happened. Y'all gonna laugh at me. Y'all gonna laugh. Don't laugh. On Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, we had family over. And she had family over. And they had their new toys. And this is when the mini bikes came out. This is around the time when mini bikes first came out. And they was like, you want to ride it? I was like, I don't know how to ride it. And they showed me all the gears and how to brake and everything. Real, like a 5-second review, right? Put the helmet on me and I go, and I go down that street. I don't even know the area that well, right? To be riding down the street. So I thought it was a dead end, right? And I'm going fast. I'm like, and I see nothing but grass and wall or a fence or something. And I said, oh, shit. How do I brake? Which one is the brake again? Which one is the brake? And I end up jumping off that motherfucking bike. I jumped off that bike. I sure did. And thank God I had a helmet on, because we saw the helmet. The chin was cracked, okay? Cracked in the helmet. I don't know how bad the bike was, okay? I didn't give a damn, but I knew I was scraped up. I was hurt. They was like, oh, you all right? Shit. No, nigga, get the fucking bike off of me. Get it off. Shit. I never rode a bike again. Never rode a mini, nothing. Okay, and I used to want a motorcycle, okay? Again, another story. So I ended up seeing somebody with their head bashed out on a motorcycle. We were just driving in the rain, and the dude was laid out on the ground with his head, with his brains on the ground next to his motorcycle. And I was like, I ain't getting on a motorcycle no more. And that happened too. I was like, nah, I ain't getting on a motorcycle. So I ended up getting scraped up or whatever. That was like, I probably was there for probably a couple of weeks. Like, I wasn't even there that long and I did that. But when I was out there, I had an amazing time. Mama Mildred she would give me rope. Just nothing but space to have fun. But the thing that she gave me besides any other foster parent was structure and discipline. Like, if I wanted to go out to my club soda parties, it's the club is called Club Soda. If I wanted to go to those clubs every Friday, I would have to make sure I go to school on time, do my homework, stay on task, do my chores at the house, and then I would get paid at the end of the week to go. Or to go to a house party, because they would do that stuff too. You would have to pay a fee to get into the house party. Y'all remember. And so she would give me rope to just have fun. Unlike my mom or Mama Ali. Like, I didn't have no space or opportunity to have fun. And so when I did go to these clubs and everything, I would have a good time. I was twerking and doing all the nasty stuff and all the coochie popping stuff, okay? I was having me a good time. Me and my friends, that's where I met my friends that I'm still friends with till this day. Keisha, Carolyn, Zing, Keisha, I believe what's her name? Mocha? I forgot. Amber, Portia really wasn't my friend. They were their friends. They cousin, I can't think of, Karen, something like that. Chardonnay, that was my first. That's my first person I was introduced to, and she introduced me to Carolyn, and Carolyn introduced me to her older sister, who was in high school at the time. So we all hung out. I ended up fighting Chardonnay because of them two bitches, Keisha and Carolyn. Yeah, y'all bitches. And we really wasn't that close anymore. Like, we would see each other in passing. But me, Keisha, and Carolyn were like real close. We would go to the park every week that was across the street from my house. They stayed down the street from my house, like 2 blocks down. And the park was right across the street from my house. So we would meet up at the park. We would fight dudes at the park that would pick on us, right? They would come up to the park talking about us, trying to hook up with us, bothering us or something. And then eventually we got to the point where we were like, you want a slap box or what? The dudes at the park, they showed us how to fight. They smoked weed with us. Okay. And, just was like big brothers to us, low key. I ended up getting with my first boyfriend. He really wasn't my boyfriend. He could have been. His name was Joe Michael. I was a fuck nigga, okay? Because I did not care about people's feelings. I cared about nothing, okay? I didn't even understand what caring meant at the time. So I ended up like talking to his friend, or about to sleep with his friend, but his friend didn't want to sleep with me. He ended up blasting me, saying that I gave him crabs or some shit like that, even though I was like, I didn't have sex with anybody but you. And I wasn't itching, sir. So it sounded like you got it from somewhere else, sir. I never went to the doctor for that crap. Nothing. I never had that crap. I ended up having another boyfriend named Trill, who was a gentleman. He never wanted to do anything like that. Like, he never wanted to screw me over, never wanted to take advantage of me, use me up, nothing. Matter of fact, my friend, it was his cousin. And so when I would go over to our house to try to hang out and spend a night, he would be like, you can't spend a night up in here. Go back in the room. And it was like an age difference. It was like a 3-year age difference. And so he was very worried about law enforcement being involved. We had skinheads out there in Lancaster, so we was dealing with that as well. But it was the best time I had in my life. Like, every time I think of when was the best time in my life, I think of Lancaster. We had Chris Brown when he first came out. We had The Game when he first came out there coming up to our school at AV High School. So, I mean, we just had an amazing time in Lancaster, me and my friends. I was out there just popping and locking. I wasn't thinking about no career, nothing, right? I ended up having to leave my foster home because I ended up inviting my boyfriend over for my birthday because I didn't think I was going to do anything. So I was like, you guys want to hang out for my birthday? And so him and Keisha came over in my backyard to hang out. And Mildred came home and found us in the backyard. And so she was upset. And she asked me, like, did they come in my house? And I said, well, you know, my boyfriend had to pee. And she was like, hell no. And so she was like, you got to go. And she ended up making me leave. And I didn't want to leave. I was begging. I was like, please don't make me leave. But she was already tired of me, like, staying out, not calling, telling her that I was staying out, you know, or showing up at 12 o'clock at night like I'm grown. I was doing a lot. Now that I think about it, like, whew, as an adult, I would kick my ass, okay? But I'm trying to hurry up and get through this video. So she told me I had to leave because of that. And the crazy part is, she had the cake. She had everything for my birthday. Oh, I ended up going to another group home called Pennylane in the Valley. And it was a terrible place. It had a group of girls there, about 50 girls. If you saw my other video called Reality TV versus Reality, then you know what place I'm talking about. Now, when I was there, I got into a few fights. When I arrived there, I was met by 50 girls. Majority of them were gang members or affiliated, whatever you want to call it. And so, what do you think they asked me when I first came up in there? Some of y'all got it right. Some of y'all got it right. It wasn't no, hey, you know, how you doing? My name is Jasmine. What's your name? I was abused by my mom. My mom doesn't love me. It was none of that. It was, where you from? What hood you from, nigga? Look, friends, gangs, guys, don't come after me, okay? I was young, okay? I knew no better. Don't even give me that you should have. No. I don't agree with that. Don't come after me, okay? I was like, huh? What do you mean? What hood? I don't, hood? My dumb ass gonna say, oh, I'm from 7-4. I'm from 7-4. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to say that. I don't know why, but I did. I thought it was, I had to be from somewhere if I'm gonna be up in there. What I did was make it harder on myself. That's what I did. Cause now every day I don't know if an enemy gonna come in, and I don't even know who my enemies are because I don't even know anything about hoods, right? I just said it just to be saying it, okay? But anyways, so I was claiming 7-4. And I would have to hold my own. And so if someone disrespected me or talked about me or whatever, I would have to fight. I would have to do something. Even if it was get my ass beat. And that's kind of where I learned, like, I'm not running from nothing. I'm not going to be scared of nothing. Y'all just going to have to beat my ass. That's where I learned that from. And so I had the stud. We called her, I'm not going to say her name, but, because I don't know her real name, so. But she was from a hood. And she was talking shit, something. And I'm in the bathroom doing my hair. And I told her, I said, bring your ass in this bathroom, I'm going to beat your ass. Something like that. And she pulled my card. She brought her big ass in that bathroom, and she beat my ass. Okay? But again, I'm not just laying there, okay? I don't know why people think when you get your ass beat, you just taking punches. No, nigga, I'm fighting back, but I wasn't advanced as her. I wasn't that advanced as her, okay? That's the difference, okay? So, but when we went outside, I don't know if it was the next day or probably the same day, but she was like, hey, I respect you though. At least your ass didn't, you held your own. Something like that, right? And so from then on, I knew, like, I'm not running from nobody, whether I get my ass beat or not. Like, I ain't no bitch. And so I really never ran from a fight. I really never ran from a fight. And I got in a few fights at that facility, okay? Because I had to hold my own. No matter how close I was to getting out. And I mean, like, it was basically a prison. And they were like, oh, if you don't have good behavior, then you can't go out to the movies. You can't do anything but sit your ass in this facility. And it was driving me crazy. And sometimes I would AWOL. Me and this girl AWOL to her family house on 4th of July. Had a good old time. Came back, had to sit in that waiting room for 3 hours, bro. Until they processed this or whatever. But I ended up running away anyways permanently because I kept asking the social worker, hey, look, contact this foster mother that's in Lancaster so I can go back. Because I was trying hard to go back to Lancaster, to be with my friends, to be with my boyfriend, which he ended up moving on. But the social worker kept like saying, oh, she has to do classes, she has to do this, she has to do that. She really, she has to do that. And it was like, she was like, give her 6 months. And so I waited 6 months. And then once that 6 months came, she was like, oh, wait another 6 months. I was like, no. I'm not waiting no more months. Because I had been getting into it with these girls, having to go through all this stuff with people. They going through their stuff. I'm going through my stuff. And I just was not happy at that place. And I wanted out. And she wasn't letting me out. She just coming every blue moon to come visit me and ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, not good. Shit, not good. I'm getting in fights all the time and I want to get out of here. I want to go back to Lancaster. Like, even if it ain't Lancaster though. But I'm like, can you get me up out of here? Because I don't want to be up in here. And she was like, nah, I can't. You gotta stay here. And so I ended up leaving permanently and going to some guy house.